Michael D. Smith is the Chief Executive Officer of AmeriCorps, the federal agency for service and volunteering. Michael has also served as the Executive Director of the My Brother's Keeper Alliance, Director of Youth Opportunity Programs at the Obama Foundation. Can't wait for it to open, that campus looks amazing. He was also a Director of the Social Innovation Fund and Senior Vice President of Social Innovation at the Case Foundation. Michael, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. When I say who can, you say you can. Who can? Who can? Who can? If you're at an AmeriCorps rally, when I say fired up, you'd say ready to serve. Fired up? Ready to serve. I know this group is. Fired up? Ready to serve. Wonderful. Jessica, thank you for that warm introduction. Tara, Ben, Claire, thank you for your friendship, your partnership. Not only what you do, but the way that you do it. You guys, just beautiful souls. You know that African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I think the reason they talk about that is sometimes collaboration is hard. Sometimes you have to deal with people you really don't want to deal with in order to get the thing through. But when you have the opportunity to work with Tara and with Ben and with Claire and the Goldhirsch Foundation, they're just people that you want to be in their company because they are accepting their calling to do the work that they do that is lifting up all of the wonderful things that are happening in this great community. So let's hear it again for Tara, Ben, and Claire. And let's hear it once more for all of the LA2050 Grants Challenge winners. You know, what we see, the way that they are propelling Los Angeles forward and their commitment to shaping this city's future is not only making a difference now, but it's going to inspire generations to come. And I am so excited to see how we are going to make this the best place to learn, live, connect, create, and play for LA 2050 and beyond. I have to tell you, I was a little nervous about coming here for one reason. My team told me that I was supposed to dress LA business casual. And I'm from Washington, D.C. I've been a Washington policy wonk since I was 16, and so business casual was like khakis and a blue blazer with gold buttons. And I'm like, what is this all about? And I tell you, I was getting in the security line on the way here at Dulles Airport in DC, and this young man at the security line, he's like, "Oh gee, come this way." I had on a baseball cap. I was like, oh gee, I had this whole moment, and so it reminded me that I'm not gonna pull off this whole. So I put on some fun Cole Hans. So I tried my best. But it's wonderful to be in this room. I'm also delighted to bring greetings and gratitude on behalf of my bosses, President Biden and Vice President Harris, and our entire, you can clap for them. And certainly our entire AmeriCorps family of 200,000 AmeriCorps members and AmeriCorps senior volunteers, as well as our 1.3 million alum who are getting things done for America every single day. And I'm also proud of the fact that we have nearly 20,000 AmeriCorps members that are serving in more than 2,500 locations, including some in this room across the great state of California. And it was so nice to see Josh there, who is our partner in purpose in this state. And y'all are innovating, you are leading the way. We are braiding federal money with state money, with private sector money to really make a difference, not only for our communities, but for the folks that serve. You know, I think like many of you, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for leaders like this year's grantees. Everyday Americans who live by the belief that our neighbors' children are all of our children. Ordinary people whose extraordinary acts of service have made meaningful differences in our communities. And when I think about it, their example helped me to think about how it was possible for a kid like me from a small city in Western Massachusetts to go from a family that qualified for welfare to working in the White House. And it's because of folks like you. I first learned about service at my local Boys and Girls Club. My mom, who was a teen mom, she was 16 when I was born, and we didn't have a whole lot of money, but she told me she sent me to my local Boys and Girls Club for cheap daycare. That was her sole purpose. Like, I had to figure out something for you to do. She also would remind me that she takes 6 buses a day to get herself to school and me to daycare, and she still reminds me of that whenever she needs something, and I give her whatever she wants. And so, you know, she sent me to my local Boys and Girls Club for cheap daycare, but she got a whole lot more than what she bargained for. Volunteers and staff at my local Boys and Girls Club taught me about social justice. They offered me opportunities to serve and care for our community. When we were still little kids, 7, 8 years old, they're like, you're gonna serve. We didn't have a choice. You give your children choices now. We were just told, you're going to serve. And so I remember cleaning up rundown lots. I remember serving meals at our local food pantry, and I remember how much I looked forward to our monthly event where we would give out the CSA Share food boxes to the senior citizens, and I looked forward to seeing them every month. And at that time, it was just something to do. I didn't know that through service, they were teaching me that I had something to give, that no matter how little my family might have had in our bank accounts, there was always something that we could do to help those in need. I remember there was a politician some years back that said that poor kids are growing up in communities where they don't see folks working. And I was like, have you seen my community? My grandmother would go from working double shifts at the envelope factory to coming home to make sure that I was loved and taken care of. And so they were teaching me all of those incredible lessons. And I think about the fact that service and those who are called to serve, because I really believe it is a calling, made me want to follow in their footsteps and build a career that was dedicated to supporting individuals like them in communities like mine, which is why I am so proud to lead AmeriCorps, which is your federal agency for national and community service, and to continue our 3 decades-long mission of answering America's call to service, including right here in California. Last year, AmeriCorps invested over $112 million in federal funding to support programs in more than 25 locations here in California. And as we can see, that investment is paying off in extraordinary ways. It's paying off for mentoring, for distributing meals to food insecure families, addressing homelessness, strengthening the public health workforce, helping our veterans, transitioning from military to civilian life, and so much more. And I think about this idea that from building brighter futures for foster youth to improving pathways to higher education for youth in underserved communities, California exemplifies the words of Dr. King. We talk about this quote all the time that says, anybody can be great because anybody can. That's right, anybody can be great because anybody can. And I love that, but we often don't talk about the rest of that quote. He goes on to say, you don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. And that is why I am so honored to facilitate this next panel discussion with 3 Angelinos who are overflowing with greatness, with grace, and with love, and whose organizations are harnessing the power of collective action through volunteering and service and action.